Hey ladies, I wanted to show you the first hat, which is the popcorn stitch. And so hopefully you have your base up to the first 5 rounds, which will give you the 60 stitches. Oops, I'm going to lose mine. So if we're looking at the pattern, after round 5, you should be at 60 stitches. So to do the cluster, it's telling you for the first cluster of each round, chain 2 in the first stitch, and then do a popcorn stitch into the same stitch. So what you need to do is come up here to the top and find out how do you do a popcorn stitch. So it's 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Then you drop the stitch from your hook and insert the hook from the front to back into the top of the first double crochet, and then pull the dropped loop through the stitch you just inserted your hook into and chain 1 to enclose. Then you skip the next stitch, and then you continue to popcorn. Because if you look at the end of round 6, it's telling you should have 30 clusters, but you should have 60 stitches. So that's 30 clusters and then 30 skipped stitches. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So I'm going to grab some yarn here. So what we're going to do for this cluster, let me move this so you don't have that glare. So it tells you to chain 2 and then do 3 double crochets. Okay, so now this is the popcorn part. So it's telling you, after you've done your 3 double crochets, to remove the hook from the 3rd double crochet, okay? And you're going to insert it, make sure I'm on camera, into the first double crochet of that popcorn stitch, okay? Then you're going to insert it back onto the loop of the dropped stitch, okay? See that? And then you're going to pull it through, and then you're going to chain 1. Okay, that's the popcorn. And then it's telling you to skip the next stitch. So this is where I'm at. I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go to the next stitch. So now I just go right into my 3 double crochets. There we go. Okay, my 3 double crochets. I'm going to take my hook out of the loop. Excuse me. Now make sure you don't lose that loop. You're going to insert your hook into the first double crochet, put the loop back on your hook, and pull through. And you're going to do that all the way around. And if you skip one in between, you should have 30 clusters. So you'll have, you can see that there is a space between them. Okay? So that's the skipped stitch, that little tiny space. All right, so let's do one more, and then I'm going to rip it out and go to the next hat. Okay, so we chained 1. So now we're going to skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, and do 3 double crochets. Oops, there we go. Well, maybe not. There we go. Okay. 2 and 3. We're going to take our hook out of that loop, insert it into the first double crochet, reinsert into the dropped loop, pull it through, and chain 1. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. And then the instructions say On the last cluster, do not chain 1 to enclose, but join to the chain stitch in the first cluster. So what you may want to do, because it's kind of hard to see this chain, the chain 1, you may want to, after you do that chain 1, go back and put a stitch marker in there. So right there is my chain 1. It's really hard to see it, I'll be honest. And I don't know if you can even see it on the camera. But this right here is the loop from my chain 1. So you may want to put a stitch marker in there just so that when you come around, you don't accidentally put it in. You know, this is my chain 2 from the beginning. This is the top of my first double crochet, so just keep that in mind. So you may want to put a stitch marker in there, and then you're going to go all the way around. And then just as a reminder, because Joan brought this up in class today, this ribbing, I don't know what you'd want to call it, is further down, where in the next round, after you do your round of clusters, you're going to do a round of half double crochets, okay? Then in round 8, you're going to work the half double crochet in the third loop, and that's what pops that stitch out, okay? Let me do a half double crochet and just remind you again. Hold on, let me just get down here at stitch level. Okay, at least I'm down here at the stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do a half double crochet. I'm going to do 2 just so that we can see it a little easier. So remember, when you're doing your round of half doubles and you have to do it in the third loop, remember these are your tops. These V's are the tops. So you want to slightly tilt your work towards you, and then this loop on the back is the third loop. And by putting your stitch in this third loop, it pushes the top, that V on the top, forward, and that's how you get this effect here. So this is actually 2 rows of half double. One is normal and one is in the third loop. And then the next round, repeat round 6 through 8. So then you're going to go back and do a cluster and then 2 rows of the half doubles, and you're going to continue to do that until the hat reaches, let's see, depending on the desired height of the beanie. So I did mine where it was 3 sets, and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of half doubles in the third loop, so that it gave that, so it matched kind of like that ribbing. Okay, so that's how I did the big sky beanie. So I'm going to stop the video and then undo this part of the hat, and I'll show you the next one.